I saw silence knitting loud sweaters for ghosts who believe in Wi-Fi. I nodded. It nodded. Reality filed a complaint. The moon clocked in late again, claiming it overslept inside a broken algorithm. My shadow unionized. We took 5-minute eternities for lunch. A traffic light whispered bedtime stories to migrating teaspoons. Gravity took a personal day, so thoughts floated around wearing tiny capes and refusing to land on anything reasonable. Meanwhile, calendars practiced deep breathing, insisting tomorrow was just a rumor invented by clocks scared of silence. Actually, it doesn't matter because gravity called me cute today. I blushed and floated sideways, dragging 3 unsuspecting spoons into enlightenment. The spoons thanked me politely, then immediately formed a philosophical disco band called Utensils of Uncertain Destiny. They rehearsed enlightenment in 7-second loops, wearing aprons stitched from forgotten equations. Air got jealous and pretended to be a velvet elevator, gently lifting everyone into a polite dimension where socks receive standing ovations just for existing in pairs. There are some real results. Now I meditate in a jar, waiting for someone to understand why my socks keep arguing about philosophy at 3 a.m. I hum quietly so the jar doesn't get suspicious. It prefers calm occupants. Last week, it evicted a cucumber for manifesting too many parallel universes. Fair enough. At 3:01 a.m., the socks debate whether consciousness is just furniture rearranging itself in the dark. I nod like a dignified teaspoon guru, pretending I too understand chairs when they cry. Usually, when chairs cry, I pretend to glitch. As a result, awareness leaves, disappointed. Sacred are the chairs that hum softly about serenity. C3 hummed. T9 giggled. L5 attempted philosophy, failed, became jazz. When L5 turned into jazz, we held a ceremonial reboot. The universe coughed politely, offended by syncopation. C3 adjusted its aura cushions. T9 giggled louder, as if existence were a punchline waiting for someone brave enough to laugh first. In the corner, a lamp practiced stillness, so profound even silence took notes. Awareness peeked back in, saw us vibrating politely, and whispered, "Carry on, you improbable beings." I agreed with, or maybe I sneezed. Same effect. Nevertheless, now I smell like decisions. Smelling like decisions, I dissolved into a polite, bureaucratic aquarium. A cosmic clerkfish slid over with a clipboard, bubbling paperwork made of pure maybe. "Species?" it asked. "Yes," I replied, confidently uncertain. The fish stamped my identity with a rubber seal soaked in hesitation. Meanwhile, chairs in scuba gear debated whether breathing was a hobby or merely social pressure from oxygen. One jellyfish took notes and applied for a whisper permit. I scooped time into teacups, warm and slightly shimmering, like nostalgia that forgot its own birthday. We petted it gently, hoping it would purr or at least hum Gregorian static. Instead, it shivered, dissolved into 7 confused microwaves, each blinking 00:00 with spiritual urgency. One tried to remember soup. Another attempted philosophy, but only beeped in Morse disappointment. A third microwave achieved enlightenment and immediately scheduled itself for a firmware reincarnation. We applauded quietly, not wanting to startle eternity while it adjusted its fur. A suspiciously wise sealing octopus descended, not physically, just conceptually, as if thought itself sprouted elegant tentacles. It blinked 8 times, each blink a thesis on why reality should come with a return policy. "Yesterday is still leaking," it murmured, dripping nostalgia like polite rainfall. We nodded with the solemn grace of spoons attending a cosmic seminar. The microwaves paused mid-identity crisis, awed by the octopus's academic silence. Then, quietly, it handed me a rubber stamp labeled "Possibly True" and whispered, "Use sparingly." Truth bruises easily, and time, especially when freshly microwaved, tends to pout. The cardboard box entered quietly, folds crisp with unbothered wisdom, corners aligned like a monk's breath. It did not seek enlightenment, it simply was, gloriously rectangular. "I don't worry about outside," it said, speaking in the serene tone only storage containers understand. "Outside is just somewhere else people panic about." We considered this, feeling suddenly overcomplicated. A microwave bowed. The ceiling octopus approved by adjusting its metaphysical spectacles. The box remained unimpressed, as boxes do, holding space the way galaxies hold silence, effortlessly, with the quiet confidence of something that knows emptiness isn't a problem, only a beginning. When the mirror declined to reflect, the universe mispronounced itself. A soft cosmic stutter, like infinity dropping a syllable in public and pretending it meant to. Reality hesitated, embarrassed, then continued walking as if nothing philosophical happened. We all politely ignored the blush spreading across dimensions. "I don't do appearances anymore," the mirror sighed, its surface shimmering with elegant refusal. "Identity is exhausting. Let things be what they are without trapping their faces in glass." We nodded, grateful and confused, like existential furniture auditioning for a role in silence. Somewhere, time sneezed again, and the microwaves bowed to a truth they couldn't see but deeply overunderstood. But the ceiling octopus, it remained above thought, suspended between theorem and haunting, its presence the square root of curiosity, multiplied by fear, raised to a polite power. Lewis' logic rippled. P and not P equals tea time, and awareness waltzed sideways through chessboard corridors where ghosts and axioms exchanged hats. We were aware we are being considered by presences older than angles. We did not panic. We arranged our thoughts neatly. We nodded to the ceiling, and it nodded back with 8 reasons to behave. Our thoughts were slow as forgiveness, heavy as certainty. Time noticed the conversation and folded itself like a napkin at afternoon tea, neatly, ceremonially, as if ours were linen soft, and tomorrow preferred to be triangular in the place where fear only arrives when someone stops being elegant. The corridors stretched again, longer than architecture promised. The clock did not tick. It merely considered ticking, and that was enough to feel watched. Before we could decide to ignore it politely, the TV exhaled snow and coughed once, not sick, but disappointed, as though existence had failed a quiet test. Fog inside the mirror made the clock tick once, a single heavy decision. A hallway unfolded vertically like an embarrassed accordion, which made the stairway loop back into itself, ashamed of where stairs usually lead. A whisper passes but has nowhere to come from. It sounds like someone folding time badly. A door ahead peels open. Not swings, peels. Inside, a table waits with 4 teacups, one empty, one steaming, one slowly freezing, one gently vibrating as if about to answer a question. We didn't ask one. At the table's head, a chair pulls itself out for us, legs scraping softly, like it remembers when wood was trees, and trees had opinions on who sat where. The chair accepts us gently, like it has practiced being hospitable for guests who never arrive but always almost do. A chair somewhere behind us adjusts itself, careful not to interrupt, yet unable to hide its eagerness to exist properly. Our shadow sits beside us. We didn't hear it arrive. It crosses its legs, confident, curious, content to not be factual. We feel it glance at us without eyes. It approves. The teacup begins a low tremor, but the table absorbs it, as if they have an old agreement about not disturbing guests with cosmic announcements too early. Our heartbeat echoes, but delayed by half a second, as if time is buffering us to make sure we're safe for its next idea.